Hey folks, it's been a long time since I recorded during rainbow time. Thought I'd share this with you and maybe just put some thoughts out there. I was just watching a really interesting video. I'll give you a link in the description. I think it's on what they call the overview effect. What happens to the astronauts when they first go out and see Earth from a distance. And that change of perspective has effects on them that were not anticipated, well, not by many anyway. And when we have a major perspective shift, it changes everything. Everything then has to be seen with new eyes from the new perspective. And things will move and shift and occupy different spaces and places of importance or non-importance, depending on our new perspective. Let me close some things and see if I can get the screen to quit shaking like that. Probably got too much open. Okay, so you bring yourself everything. I hope this vid plays better than what it's showing me here. Keeps hanging up. Anyway, you bring yourself to everything. Okay, now, what if you are this multi-dimensional ray of light, this magnificence, this infinite, eternal beingness, living all of your many, many lifetimes now. And now here. What kind of a being would it take to do that? To keep it together, to keep things sufficiently separated in awareness. I mean, you can't be crossing the street in one lifetime and doing something else in some other lifetime and get mowed down. You have to be able to focus. And so things have to be kept at least somewhat separate. It's good for the health of the body, if nothing else. And yet, you are this one that is whole, is complete across all of it. You can't go out to the periphery and think the periphery is going to have that fullness of awareness, but at heart you certainly do. Okay, so you are this divine being, this multi-dimensional magnificence. You look out at something. What if you can realize that you're looking at yourself? You're looking at your self-reflection. Now, what you have to call on by way of your point of perspective is all of that. The Divine One. And you can call upon it superficially by staying in 3D, or you can deepen that perspective. At the point in time when you're looking at a scene and you're so overcome with appreciation for all that you're seeing, you're looking through eyes of Source. All of it is love. Love expressing in the many diverse, different, distinct ways that are still one. And if it's one, then you can't see anything but the self. And the great wrench that's thrown in the works that makes it so wonderful of course, is free will. We get to choose. And so when I look at my brother, I can choose to see that he has some negative habits and spends his time in ways that perhaps I wouldn't choose to spend my time. Or I can look and see the magnificence shining there, the integrity, the beauty of the soul that he is. Interestingly enough, too, in looking at him that second way, I actually support that in him. I'm choosing what to see there. Or it could be said, I'm choosing to see it through eyes of heart and not eyes of mind. Heart vision is much deeper, broader, vaster, by far. It's not the whole shebang, the whole ball of wax, and yet it's our access point to that. And it keeps us in now. And that's really key and central. As long as we're out wandering around in time-space and not fully present where we are, well, I mean, that can be useful sometimes. Daydreaming is great. I wouldn't call meditation not being present. I would call it being more intensely present, to just be still. It's a delightful challenge, because when we be still and just sit and choose to just sit or lay or whatever position, I don't think posture matters a bit, to just be, then we get to see mind at its antics, playing its hijinks, trying to retain control. And it's fine to just watch that and just keep drawing attention back to your center, or to the candle flame, or to the sound of whatever it is, you know, whatever you've chosen as your focal point. And just ignore mind. And that shows us just how much mind is running the show. If you get frustrated especially, no need for that. Mind is okay, it's just doing its thing. We're just shifting gears when we're doing that, and we're choosing to go deeper within. And so a mind pretzel can be good if you've got a little saying that can pretzel minds, such as these eyes through which I hope to see God or Source are the eyes through which God sees me. Or the fact that I'm living all of my lifetimes now, these things just bamboozle mind. You know, they just throw it for a loop. And I find that's a really good way to take a meditation. Give mind something like that and let it go off and chew on that. And you just go where you will. You are everywhere at once. And you are every when at once. And you can prove it to yourself eventually, if you will, by being there, by going there. When we center, when we heart center, we can go where we will in meditation. You can go and swim with the dolphins, and they will be aware of your presence. Where you go, you will be perceived. Your presence will be noted. Other beings are aware of themselves on deeper levels, perhaps, than mental mind man is. You can go visit the galaxies. And you can get really good at it. but I don't suggest you do it for anything beyond fun and enjoyment. To make a mental exercise of it, nah, that's not my way. Now maybe somebody else specializes in that, and they can share that aspect, that perspective. But mine is not that. I have found my successes, if you will, in being in heart. But let's look at that saying the Sufis came up with. These eyes through which I hoped to see God, obviously these physical eyes, are the eyes through which God sees me. What does that say? It says, I am the all. And it says, God is where I am. Well, that's not too much of a stretch, not for you. I mean, if it's truth, it will stand. That's the beauty of it. And within heart, we have a truth detector. And it's a two-sided coin. The other side of the coin is it's a BS detector. Okay? But lest we get too full of ourselves, I'm not too quick to condemn anything, because whatever it is, it's someone sharing from their perspective. And I'm no expert on them and their perspective. I mean, just imagine the uniqueness, the individuality of one being who has had XYZ lifetimes and trekked through life in this very particular path, if you will. You can't replicate that. Now, another aspect of this is that as the one, that also means I am you. And I am the wall, and I am these clothes, and, I am the universe, the cosmos, the all. And so I have infinite perspectives from which to choose, and I have a right to take them up where they are the varying and varied aspects of who I am. That's me too. You're me too. And so I have a deep interest and a joy and a delight in coming to understand another's perspective to the extent that I can. It's great fun. And it's expanding the I that I am. I mean, notice we all say I. And that I, what is it? It's a vertical line to the above, to the below. What am I but a point of perspective? And all the I's together, that too I am. Do we need to call it source? No. Does it need any religion? Lord, no. Those are mind games. Now, this is from my perspective, and I honor your right to have your perspective. To me, all religions are mind games. Philosophies, not so much. Sure, a lot of them are, but it depends on who's philosophizing now, doesn't it? It depends upon the depth to which that particular being has gone in the all, what they have to present. Carl Jung was a great one, I think, who had an awful lot more that he gave that isn't touted about. It didn't please the powers that be at the time. And so we have things like Napoleon Hills, Think and Grow Rich. when the original manuscript was finally published, you could lay the book side by side with the published version and see they struck everything that indicated higher dimensional anything, vibration or ethers or anything like that was removed. And so they removed the secret. The whole thing on which it stood was edited out. Well, the mainstream media will do that. But that's okay too, because we rely less and less upon it, and more upon the deep inner wisdom that's within each and every one of us. It's just as much in the beggar on the street in Calcutta as it is in the queen or the ruler of the world, whatever that is. You know, this hierarchical stuff, that's a way big part of the game. There's no hierarchies in heaven. Not in any heaven that I'm interested in. It's all one. And it's all perspectives, aspects of the one, different facets of the gem that the one is. And so no one is better than another. How can that be? This facet is better than that facet. I don't think so. Rather, they all go together to make up the whole. But if they get too stuck on their facetness, they lose their oneness. And I suppose if you get too stuck in your oneness, you lose your facetness. But the beauty of it is that you too are the blade of grass. And you can experience grassness. I have experienced the crystals to such a degree that I've come into contact and communion with the elemental kingdom that is that, or has charge of that. I don't know how to say it. And the same with the trees. They have consciousness. They have awareness. They communicate. Hello. But where is man in his reception of that? Having been separated out and divided and conquered to the nth degree, or so they'd like to think, man is no longer as aware as the aboriginals, the native peoples, of the consciousness of the sun, of the mountains, of the rock, of the tree, of the plant, whatever the plant is. It's all conscious. It's all consciousness. Even the lamp standing beside me has consciousness. Everything does. And if you're consciousness, that means that you can participate in that. Okay, sometimes people want to take drugs. They want a shortcut. But you can speak to enough of them that have had the direct experience of what I'm talking about here, that they can report, yes, that's the case. That's what I experienced. I remember, my youth, in days long ago, I used to enjoy a little mescaline or LSD. And I would enjoy sitting on the couch and looking at the wall and all the pretty colors, doing the dance on the wall, until one day it came to me that you couldn't see something that wasn't there in some way or another. And as I got to looking, it suddenly hit me. It's not on the wall. I see it as displayed on the wall, but when I refocused, I saw that it was in the air. It was in the room. And I was seeing into deeper levels of frequency than are usually available to the conscious mind. So, if you're seeing it, it's there. There are so many people in mental institutions that just had an awakening and don't have the support for it in our society. They need a shaman, not a psychiatrist, you know? But so many of us, my friends, are waking up. And we can be, and we are, the support for all of our brethren. To the extent that I awaken, I support you in your awakening, and vice versa. I don't know about the 100th monkey effect, what truth is there, but it doesn't take 51% of us awakening to make massive, major change. One awakened being has the power and the impact of millions of the sleeple. They're just not focused, they're just not present, and there's nothing wrong with that either. That's just the part of the role that they're playing right now, and they're choosing that in some way, so it's got to be okay, and we're not in charge of what they're choosing anyway. All we're in charge of is self. But if you've been listening at all to what's been said here, there's a much broader definition, if you will, of self that we can adopt and realize at least a part of the power that your awakening and your joy brings to the whole.